collated all of your feedback and put it into a report, which has been submitted to the government in time. By the way, I totally underestimated how long it would take to get all the data, do the analysis on it, and write a posh report. I've really fucked up. It's been a nightmare. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the report that I've submitted to the government. I have been very, very clear that this is not my opinion, that I wasn't well enough to do a face-to-face workshop thing, and that we did an online questionnaire, basically via YouTube. And it's all we've done is communicate the opinion of everyone that took part. No one was forced to take part. It was voluntary and it was anonymous. So, by the way, you can access this report. So if you go into the link in the description in the website, it's going to be on the main page for a little bit. So you can just click on it and you can take your time to go through it. I'll go through it quickly now. And then in the future, it will be on the website under free stuff, because we haven't got a section for government shit. Okay, maybe I'll set that up in the future. Right, so let's just crack on and have a look at it. For any of you that don't know me, I've helped over 150 people win their PIP claims, and I receive PIP myself. But the most important thing I do is help people improve their quality of life. You know, people that are struggling with chronic illness. I'm a bit lit. My brain's not really on, but I just want to get this done. What am I doing? Does anyone know what I'm doing? What am I doing? Sharing the report. Okay. I literally got it submitted with 50 minutes to spare. It was stressful. I'm not moaning. I am moaning, but I'm not moaning. What I'm going to do is learn from this. So if ever we do something like this again in the future, I'll make sure I set up the report and everything well before the deadline day. I just, yeah, it was a new experience for me. So that's why it's been a bit challenging. Well, a new experience for us, wasn't it? Because we've never done anything like this before. Basically, now I've done it posh, okay? I didn't want the government to look at us and be like, oh, it's a load of people moaning. No, we're not moaning. We have answered the questions they asked. So I've done this as if I was working in my prior employment running a multi-million-pound contract. You know, I've done an executive summary, you know, about the submission, the methodology, the participant overview, findings, themes, limitations, and a conclusion. And then Appendix A, the data, what I've done. So this is really important. What a lot of people do is they'll just say, they said this, they said that, they said this. Well, what I'm doing is I'm saying, as a whole, as a community, this is the facts that have come across. And then I have said, here's all the raw data. You can have all the raw data, so they can see the raw data, they can see where it was tidied up, because sometimes there was symbols and things in there, or sometimes you could see that someone started the started the feedback but didn't answer anything, then restarted and answered it. So I removed that row. So they can see all of that data, and then they can see where I've done the analysis, where I've done the tables, and I've created the graphs. So they can see that I've not tampered with anything at all, which I think is really important because we want transparency, yeah? So in what I've submitted to the government is Appendix A, the data, okay? So that's been submitted as well as this document that you're reading now. So in total, 585 people started the questionnaire, but there was a 29.7% drop-off rate. So what I did was I looked at, was it one question that people were like, fuck? And it wasn't. I think it's just fatigue, and because there were a lot of questions. I spent so much trying to work out which questions were important. It's not just my opinion. We've got to take it into account for everyone. So I feel like it was thorough, which is what I wanted. I wanted to make the most of it. And the drop-off rate with fatigue and pain and everything else, I think that's apparently statistically that's pretty good. That's a really good completion rate of 70%. That's unusually high. So well done, everyone. Right, so about the submission, that basically we have done this because the DWP asked us to. Okay, it's not something we've just decided to do, it's because they asked us. Then I've been honest and gone, look, I couldn't do the face-to-face workshops. And the point that, yeah, but because I couldn't, there's also probably a lot of you that couldn't go to a face-to-face workshop. So I've just explained that there. Then I had a bit of a wobble because I've been honest about, look, most of this has gone through the YouTube channel. Yeah. Now we know before I even hit 1,000 subscribers, I was informed that I was being monitored by the DWP. And my opinion was, okay, I've got nothing to fucking hide. Like, you can monitor me, you can spy on me if they like. Like, one time when the newspapers targeted me, I had 4 drones over my house. Didn't like it. But they can monitor me and see, oh, she's still in her shed. She's in her shed. She's in her shed. She's in her shed. She's still in the shed. Oh, she's on the decking. Like, well, they're going to be bored to fuck monitoring me. But that's fine. I've nothing to hide. But I was a bit nervous on blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, 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 be brave, be brave. So, yeah, the purpose of the report is to present the findings, not that I'm trying to tell them what to do. That's not why we've done this. We are answering their questions and communicating what we as a community have said. So, the methodology, government questions, we adapted it into an online format. We did this from the 1st of July to the 17th, 06 a.m, which was a bit of my fuck up because I thought I was prepared to do the report and I wasn't. All voluntary, all anonymous. This is really important. This bit here is really important. So the percentages, all the people that started, those that dropped off. So I couldn't do the percentages based on the total people that started. Otherwise it would skew the data. It wasn't right. So I did the percentages based on the people that answered that one question. Okay. So I'm not good at maths, but I promise there was a big difference. That's really important accuracy. And then that I did do data cleaning, yeah, where sometimes there were these symbols and everything. So, but we did not change the answers people gave. So just a reminder, 585 people did it, completion rate of 70%. And then I checked the pattern and it was gradual drop off, no technical fault, no one question. I think it was just due to chronic illness, although I haven't said that there because I don't know that. So question 1, what do people use PIP for? So for every question, I've done key findings. So the most commonly, and this obviously varies depending on what the question was, okay? So this one was the main, oh fuck, I've forgotten the question. Sorry. What do people use PIP for? Right. So this one was, we use it for managing our health conditions or help that we need because of the health conditions. So every answer has got a lovely pie chart. So you can see that 21% was due to managing health conditions. 20% was due to household help because we've got to pay people to do things we can't fucking do. 14% was heating, electricity and water bills. 13% transport. So all links. Every question I've done a fucking graph, right? Pie chart, sorry. And then this bit I love, right? The interpretation. Get this. Most of us use it for managing our health or help. So 2 out of 5 of the responses were for those reasons. I loved that. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these, okay? Because I just want you to see this is how I've done it. So why is PIP important to you? 27% it helps me with the extra cost of my disability. 12% it helps me stay independent. Without PIP, 11% without PIP, I would be at increased risk of serious harm or crisis. 56 people said that. So you can go through this. Again, you can download it yourself and have a look at it. So I love this bit where what it shows that it was whilst managing extra costs was the most selected reason, but the pattern of responses is that we regard PIP as protecting us against loss of independence, protecting us about financial instability, protecting our deterioration in health. And I fucking love that that's what it showed because it's true. In my head, that's true. That's what my understanding when I work with people. That's how I feel. So parts of your life that are, or circumstances that are affected. So it said about the household task or personal care that we've got to pay for help. Needing regular help. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that chunk of fucking blue. Look at it. 41% of us. I need help with household tasks or personal care that I've got to fucking pay for because I can't do it myself. Yes, it's shit. The dominance, like, of household task and personal care is the biggest extra cost, is the most significant. That's the one that really upset me when I was first looking at this. I was so grateful that it's not just me and really happy to see this data, but I really struggled like seeing that. So I'll let you go through this because I need to stop. I'm so sorry. But I want to take you to the end of the report because at the end there is where are we? Okay, overall themes. Independence. Staying independent was the leading reason why we say PIP matters. Fuck yes. And what PIP should do to help people. Extra cost of disability, the household tasks, the personal care, and trying to look after our conditions was the main issues, the main reasons of what we use PIP for. Accessibility, we do not think it's accessible. Assessment accuracy, we have concerns about the assessment reports, points awarded, and decisions do not reflect our daily lives and cause emotional impact. Yes, I see it all the fucking time. This bit was really interesting as well. Fluctuating conditions. They are not good at this. They're not. And I'm so happy that this is what showed in all of your feedback. Brain fog, fatigue, day-to-day variation. They don't really get it. Dignity and respect is fucking lacking. Really lacking. So limitations, again, it was this, you all did this voluntarily, that they cannot take this and be like, that's how everyone on PIP feels. They can't because there's I think it's over 4 million people on it and just over 500 of us did this. So obviously we are not speaking for everyone that is on PIP. So the conclusion was we did it because the government asked us. It expresses our views, those of us that did it, and we're intended to support what the government are trying to do. And then I've submitted the Appendix A, the data, so that they can check everything to see it for themselves. Don't forget, let me bring you closer. Don't forget, you can just go on the website and you can look at the report, take your time and read it, whatever you want. Hope you're happy with the format. I really think it was important to state fact, to not be emotional about it, that this is what we have all said. Here is the data. That's what the government asked for. Let us know what next steps are. So I've already received an email back saying that they've got it, they've received it, it was in time and everything, so that's good. Actually, let me just share that with you so you can see that I'm telling the truth. Anytime I do stuff like this, it's very important to me that you see what I'm doing behind the scenes, that you have confidence, you can trust me, that I'm being transparent, that I am not trying to put my opinion on anything. I'm just trying to provide us where we can, as a group, give feedback. Like when we did the petition, yeah? So it's very important to me that you get to see what I've done behind the scenes, right? Hence why I always do videos like this. So you can see here that this has come from the TIMMS review workshop email. Oh, someone's actually typed this. I thought it'd be a standard response. Many thanks for your detailed submission and providing the raw data. Yes, because it really is important. We've received your response and we'll pass it on to the team conducting the analysis. Oh, fuck yes. Thank you for taking the time to run a session and share your insights with the review. Okay, I wouldn't really count it as a session, but I get that they. So I'm so happy that they've acknowledged they've got the raw data. That's brilliant. And then you can see here, this is all I said. I kept it really straightforward. Whom it may concern, please find attached a report containing our workshop feedback, an appendix containing the raw data if you'd like to cross-check any of the analysis completed. That's surprising that a human actually replied back with that, and because I thought it'd be a template response of thanks for submitting this, don't reply back to this email. So a human's actually checked it and replied to us, which is amazing. We're done. We've done on this little bit. Now, I didn't know this was going to happen. We didn't get any forewarning, which really does bother me because I don't get to plan energy and fatigue and everything to try and do it. As far as I'm aware, now we're waiting for autumn for the actual report to come out with their suggestions. If anything else happens in the meantime, I will do urgent videos on it. If they ask for feedback on anything else, we'll do urgent videos. I wish I'd done something like this for the evidence one, because the evidence one was so much easier. It was just like 4 questions. Yeah, if anything else happens and we can do it in this format, we'll do this again. And I'll get better at making sure I prepare the reports before the final day. But thank you so much to everyone that took part in this. I will only do videos when we get updates from the government. I'm not going to do it based on hearsay, same as normal. Okay. Right, I'm going to bed. Speak soon.